Gosh, hi guys. Thank you so much for having me. What an honor. I love getting to connect with my new skin family. I feel like it's been ages since we've all been together. But hopefully everybody's well. But yeah, thank you so much. It's such an honor, Lisa. Thank you for asking. So I'll just jump right into my story and then we'll get into some of the fun stuff about social media. And how the whirlwind has just happened for the team. So, real quickly, I was introduced to Nu Skin actually when I was 16 years old, which I was not a teenager that saw myself doing it right then. Ironically, tonight there was a 16-year-old on my team earn Punta Cana. So I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. So I heard about the business at 16 years old as my parents were getting the presentation given to them by two relatives of ours, Dr. Bill and Julie Toth. So many of you guys may know their names. They are 17-year Team Elites, 4-star platinums. They're incredible people. Julie and my dad are cousins. And so I was hearing them present to my parents back then. And my parents didn't do anything at that stage, but it just kind of planted a seed. And 5 years later, I was graduating college a year early. I had played soccer. I had gotten an accounting degree. And here in Oklahoma, everything's about oil and gas. And so I was going into the oil and gas industry as well. And I was going to be an auditor. And it was not very fun. As soon as I started, I figured that out. And I just knew it wasn't the lifestyle I wanted long term. And so ironically, we had a family reunion a couple of months later, and this was August of 2012. And Bill and Julie were there. And the ironic side of this is because of Facebook, I had continued watching Bill and Julie's lifestyle. I had forgotten it was Nu Skin that they did. I just knew their lifestyle. And I saw traveling pictures and things like this. And this was before social media was on the radar to use in our business. But it was just attraction marketing is what it is. And so I reached out to them and said, well, you remind me of what you do. I love your lifestyle and I'm curious. And so that's how it came back around. And I got started August 22nd, 2012. And I was your typical accountant. I was very introverted, still am. Introverted, talking to people in person is not a comfortable, natural thing for me. So if I ever act awkward in person, that's why. It just behind a screen is more comfortable to me. And so that may be relatable to some of you guys, or maybe people on your team, or maybe people that you have talked to about the business. That is me. So I started being very coachable. I knew I was going to have to learn a lot, but I knew my end goal and what I wanted to create as a lifestyle in this business. And so I was willing to learn whatever it took to do it. And I started going to every event from early on. My first event was just a few months into my business. It was a regional kickoff in Orlando that January. And that's where I started to get to meet and hear the stories from Blue Diamonds and Team Elites. And I wanted to meet all of them and I wanted to hear all their stories. So that's one of my tips that I think really helped me, is to learn what made Blue Diamonds and Team Elites different. And it's not that they're more skilled than other people. It's hearing the stories of what they went through. That's the difference, is they've just been willing to get through everything that comes up. And it's just a matter of it's on the way in your journey versus in the way of your journey. And I heard that from the start from Carla Hill, another amazing team lead. She's a sideline of mine. So I got going, and it was not easy. It was not quick. It was not anything that people assume every team elite has, is that you just snap your fingers and it comes together, right? That's not what my journey is. I did get to Blue Diamond in a few years into the business, but I was what we called a pancake. I had no leaders developed on my team. It was all me. It got to this point several years into the business. It was very stressful and exhausting. I never once considered quitting, but I was exhausted and just like what has to change? I'm diligent. I work hard every day. I do what I'm coached to do. I go to events. Like, what's the missing piece, right? That's sometimes what some of us ask, or we're questioning. And I work with my team to not ask themselves that question. It's not that there's a missing piece. It's just a matter of time, usually is what it is. And growth. That's not missing anything. That's just growing into something, in my opinion. And I remember mentioning Carla Hill about this time. Two things happened and came into my awareness. First, I called her, and it's sometimes really good to have great sidelines, not for coaching, never coaching. You only go to your upline for that. But sidelines for accountability or support or just someone to talk to. And I called her and I just said, I am so tired, Carla. So we had this talk, and this thing that she told me is still one of the number one things I talk about to this day. And she helped me understand that the different stages and the different things that we go through in our journey is not about us. It's about being able to get through that so then we can in the future help someone else go through the exact same scenario. And so it starts being not about you. Stop looking at it as it's happening to you versus start looking at it as embracing it to learn how to get through it so then you can help someone else. Because that's ultimately what this business is about, is serving and helping other people. So start thinking about how you can serve other people through your experiences. I have people on my team that they're single moms, or they start to have, unfortunately, go through a divorce in the business, or they are married and they're getting pregnant. These are different occurrences that I believe having a baby is a blessing, right? But they're going to be able to help someone else in the future be able to build their business while pregnant, because they're going to be able to say, I've been through that. I know exactly what it's like, how tiring it may be, but that it is possible if your goals are big enough. Sorry, the dogs are going to be loud. Hold on. I'll close the door. But no kids here, just dogs. But so that was one of the lessons that really stuck with me from early on in my business. And to this day, I still refer back to that. It's not about what's going on towards you or what's happening at you. How can you use that to help someone else in the future? And then the other thing that came onto my radar at this time was some girls over in England were using social media to start promoting our products. And when I first heard about it, thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard of. I even said that to Julie. I was like, well, that sounds dumb that they're promoting toothpaste and our lip gloss on Facebook. But I paid attention enough, and I continued to see their progression, and I'm competitive. And again, I was tired and exhausted during this. And so a question that I had been asked by my coaches, and I'm sitting at my desk and I still have the postcard that they sent me from the Barcelona Team Elite trip with this question written on it, is in relation to successfully achieving your business goals. In relation to successfully achieving your business goals, what's a thought I've never thought before? That's pretty powerful, right? In relation to successfully achieving your business goals, what's a thought I've never thought before? And I still have that to this day in my desk. And social media was one of those. I started to key in. You're not going to know the answer to that question right now. That's going to be something that may come days from now. It may come weeks from now. It may come a year from now or many years from now. It's just something you have to put in your thought process and just let it marinate for a little while. And for me, it took a few years for the answer to come, but then I started to realize maybe this is a direction that it doesn't change my goals in this business. It's not ultimately changing what I'm doing. It's just a different approach. So at least be open-minded. And that's what happened. And so I continued to watch. And then June 24th, 2016, I had a conversation that changed the direction of not just my business, but my life. And it was with Scott Short. Many of you, all of you may know him. He was very dear to me. He was like a father. And he sat down with me, and he knew where I was just exhaustion wise. And he just said, are you ready to give social media a try? You need to. You need to go that direction. And he basically gave me the final nudge to do it, because I was fearful. He knew I was going to need to start completely over, basically, and just let everything that had been there go, because it was dead weight in the business anyway. And so start over. But I did. I took that leap of faith. Sometimes you need that mentor, someone close to you, to give you that final nudge when you're ready. I had heard it, but you have to be ready to hear those kind of things. And so again, having that open-mindedness, don't be the blocker for your own growth. And so then I did start into social. We did not have a plan. We did not have a map or a system or a sequence to follow. It was trial and error, and just following instincts and following our gut, knowing we were taking the right directions. And you may have people say what you're doing is totally crazy and you're an idiot and you're just doing crazy stuff. And why are you doing that? And they may be loved ones too, and people you look up to. I understand that. I went through a lot of that during that phase. But you need to go into a bubble with your coaches and your team and work together through that. And so we did. And one of my first toothpaste customers was a girl named Abby Gibson. And she and I have known each other for 15 plus years. We played soccer together, her and her mom, Ginger Sussman. They both were some of the first people I thought would be great at this business when I started 8 years ago. And they had said no before even looking at anything, just no to even hearing. And so it's just timing. Understand it's timing for people. And so they came around. Abby signed up a few weeks after trying the toothpaste. She was like, I love this. What is this business you're doing? And so she got started, and her mom signed up a week later to help her. Now they are both 4-star platinums this year. And I'll tell a little bit of stories about them here in a second. I recommend having them on at some point too, and maybe even together. They're a lot of fun together. But we started and worked really hard, again, figuring stuff out. And just a couple of the things that tweaked, it wasn't just social media. It was also those first 4 years of my business, I learned a lot about how this type of business works. So sometimes you have to pay your dues also. And that's what I was doing, is I learned how this business works. And I have that to stand on now. I don't regret my first 4 years. I learned about myself. I grew a lot. And then I learned some things that I wasn't great at in the beginning and how I could evolve. And some of that was stop putting so much pressure and expectation on people. Love them where they're at. And so I started to take on the mantra of a lot of people doing a little. Okay. Don't stop when you get a couple people on your team, okay, or a few customers. And then the second thing was we started really focusing on customers, customer acquisition. If you help people fall in love with the product, they're going to be some of your best teammates anyway. So start there. And that's what we have done since then. And that, I think, is one of our key successes, is just helping people love the product and having a great experience in that aspect, because we know they're going to love the product. Who doesn't, right? So, and it doesn't matter if it's a tube of toothpaste or if it's a Luma spa or if it's facial spa or whatever it is. Like, we have so many great products. Okay. Just help them fall in love with one that meets one of their needs that they've got. That's ultimately what we're here to do. So we got started, and it's been a whirlwind. And Abby and Ginger, I'll tell their quick couple of stories just so you have some perspective. Abby got started. She is now a Circle of Excellence member. She won Woman Entrepreneur of the Year for this year as well in 2020. And she is, like I said, 4-star platinum. She's a new team elite this year. She has 12 team elites on her team, and then many more blue diamonds. I would say probably 8 more blue diamonds. And she's going to have 100+ people that were qualified for the Waikiki Waikiki success trip. She'll have over 100 for Punta Cana as well. She's amazing. And one of the key things for her that I've learned from her is about building a community that people feel connected into. I think that's one of the greatest things she is helping people feel loved and supported and included. No matter what their goals are, no matter what their outcome is, there's a place for everybody. And her team that she has named is the Babes in Business, and so they're all babes. And it's the coolest thing, and they love it. And then her mom, Ginger, I love Ginger's story because one, she's one of the funniest people you'll ever meet in your life. But also she's a great example because she started in her early 60s. There's not very many early 60-year-olds starting this business, and she didn't need to. For many reasons. She had a husband that provides very well. So she, on the outside, doesn't look like someone who really needs the opportunity. She loves the product. She's one of the toothpaste original testimonials that we had. And when she started, she has built all on social media. She was my very first Blue Diamond, and she did it very quickly. But she started with almost no social media presence. The only people she was connected to on Facebook were also Abby's friends. So they had basically all overlap. And, but I love that example because someone in her early 60s has still created a brand new, essentially social media presence from nothing and has been extremely coachable. And she's amazing. She has, I believe, 4 team elites and a few more Blue Diamonds on her team as well. So, I mean, it just goes to show that age is just a number. It doesn't matter where you're at with social media wise. Social media, a couple of things, I'll kind of transition now to some things about social media that I've learned is at the end of the day, it's not this magic thing. It's still a way that you connect with people. And the key thing for social media, just like if you're doing this business offline, is you have to meet new people. And the example I always give people is just like offline, you could be calling the exact same list of people. And online, if you're not expanding your audience and connecting to new people, it's just like picking up the phone and calling the same people every single day. So it does no good. Like in both cases, offline or online, find new eyeballs every single day is what I tell my team. Go find new. And how you do that is you find people like you. You find people from areas where you're from or people with similar interests. So Facebook groups, or you look through hashtags on Instagram for people with similar likes and passions, and you start to connect with them, and you create a community and you join communities that fit you. And you don't want these massive communities of millions of people because you don't stand out. You're not really noticed, right? You want kind of tight-knit communities that you start to become a part of and grow into. And then it's this concept of like, you see bloggers on Instagram. What do? They do a great job of inviting people into their lives and helping people see themselves wanting to be like the blogger. They want to dress like them. They want to look like them. They want to have the lifestyle they have. That sounds like our business and our opportunity and our products, right? So what you do is you're essentially doing that, is you're sharing the product every day. I use my LumiSpa in my story every day. How many times do I get messages from people out of the blue that go, so what is that thing you use on your face? Because they've started to connect to me, they started to trust me, and they see me using it and being a product of the product. And then ultimately they go, can I do what she's doing? And do I want to? And so there you go. It's starting to live it out loud in front of people. That was really the difference for me when social media entered the pictures. I wasn't living out loud in front of people, even offline. Okay. Part of that was my introverted side. And what Scott had told me was to take the gloves off. And so that goes for even with social media, is take those gloves off and live out loud. Be proud that you're in network marketing. I, for years, was not acknowledging I was in network marketing because you're afraid of what people think. Now, if someone asks, is this an MLM or a network marketing? I'm like, yeah, it's great. Like, have you ever been with one before? That's usually like, I turn it back as a question to them. Like, have you ever been with one? Half the time they haven't. They're just going off of what they've heard. So then you can real quickly address it. But that's really like social media in a nutshell. It's a great place to connect to new people every single day, even when you're not locked down at home or anything like that. Just on a normal basis, my team is made up of a lot of moms. And so this business has given them the flexibility to do it around their kids and to be moms at home. That's ultimately why I started this business. Now, I'm not a mom yet, but I get to help moms do that now. And that's really cool to me. And it's so rewarding. So really, like the few takeaways I would say that have helped in this progression is ultimately you work really hard in every single day. And I would say even more so on social media. Social media doesn't know when it's Sunday. Like Instagram doesn't care, right? So like you don't take that day off, you're still present. It doesn't mean you can't have time with your family. I think that's so valuable. It's why we're here doing this business, is to have that time with family or loved ones, but you can still live your business out loud on social media, even when it's time with family, if that makes sense. Another one is being accountable. I have always been an advocate for accountability with my coach. I have just always done that from the beginning. It's what helps stay the course. If you feel yourself not wanting to reach out to your coach because you don't like what's going on right now, like you don't like the results or the numbers that are showing up right now or anything like that, or you're in a bad mood because you've had a lot of no's, that is even more reason to go talk to your coach. Because let them know they're not mind readers, but they're also not going to push you and force you either, but they will help. I can promise. I know everyone in this business, and I know your leaders are amazing. Let them help you. Don't hold that back. I'm very stubborn, but I thankfully wasn't that stubborn on that in the business. Another one is staying focused on why you're here, like your why. What are you here for? And if that's really crystal clear, then it'll help you through the bad days. It doesn't mean there won't be bad days, but it'll help you through them, is the number one thing. Another thing was working to make others better than me. For the first few years, it was all about Rebecca. And I had to stay ahead of everybody on my team. And so that puts up a block to all of them. And what I have learned is to let people soar, let them reach their potential. And ultimately, you want a team full of people that are better than you. That's ultimately what you want, because that's what we're here for. And it's the most rewarding, is what I've learned also. Like truly, like true joy and happiness comes from helping others achieve their goals and dreams. It's so cool. As cool as it was for me to hit Team Elite, helping each girl that has hit Team Elite now, like I'm not a crier, but I have cried every single time each one of them has completed Team Elite, because I know what it means for their family. I've been in the journey with them and I've seen what they've gone through and how they have overcome. And that's really cool. And I prayed for a season like this to finally come in my business. And it took many, many years and lots of hard work and commitment and just consistency. But hold on to that and know that your time's coming too. Another one is being humble and have fun. I had to remember to bring fun back into the business. This business is meant to be fun. Fun is attractive also. So make sure and do that. And if you feel like you're not having fun, get back to what is fun about the business. I ask my girls that anytime that I can feel them being overwhelmed or anything like that, I just say, let's go back to what's fun about this business to you. Okay. Let's go do that for the next day or two. Nothing else, only that. And let's regroup and get grounded again. And then the last one is set big goals and write them down. I have written on my mirror statements, I am, and for years before I even was a Team Elite, it said, I am a Team Elite. Not I will be, I am. So then when I hit Team Elite, I was like, yeah, well, I've been knowing this for years. And so then I changed it. It's not, I got there and then great, I changed it. It then became, I'm a 4-star platinum team elite. And now that that's happened, it has now been changed to, I am a platinum team creator. So it continues to evolve and change, and you work towards it. So statements like that are really powerful. And again, I have them taped to my mirror, so I see them all the time, multiple times a day, and I just love it. So couple of things on social media that I think has also helped us is we do, we were talking a little bit before, we do training. And I know I can see that we're on Facebook Live. That's exactly what we do. It's a great way to be connected, right? Connected to trainings, connected to your team. It creates such a great community. Every time we have an event, we're like, I can't remember if we've met in person or not because we see each other on Facebook all the time. And so it's like, I'm surprised we haven't met by this point. And I feel like I know you because I see you posting all the time. So that's the beauty of social media that I really like, is just that connection with people, not just on your team, but that's how you connect with your customers and build those relationships and really cultivate those. And that's how some of them end up wanting to join the fun, is because you've continued to engage with them. They see how you're connected into a community. And many of them, especially I feel like women, are like, I want to be a part of a really fun group of women. Like, that looks really fun. Why wouldn't I want to be a part of that? Positivity and all that. So it's just really valuable on that side of things. And the connections are just endless, honestly. And you get to be you. Bottom line, share what you love. I mean, we have so many products in Nu Skin. Share the ones that you connect with and you really love and you're using, and you have an audience that is similar to you. It's a matter of time until they start going, okay, why is your skin so perfect all the time? What do you use exactly? And they just start asking those questions. And it's the typical type of thing. People go like, oh my gosh, where would be a great restaurant for us to go to for blah, blah, blah celebration? And it's the same kind of recommendations. It just happens to be through products that you also get paid to promote, right? But you're using them. So in a nutshell, that's my story, and that's social media. But the biggest thing is having fun with it, remembering to be yourself and live out loud, and then find new people that are similar stages of life, similar passions, that can really connect with you. And that, how I say it to my team is, ask yourself, could I see myself being friends with this person if I took Nu Skin out of the equation? If I wasn't looking at it through a Nu Skin viewpoint, would I be friends with this person potentially? And if the answer is no, I wouldn't connect with them. If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. And so that's the way to go. So anyway.
Awesome. Is that it, Rebecca? We want more.
That's what I got so far.
That was amazing.